in one of our extreme fits
Wisdom.
of movie obsession, we watched all 10 Planet of the Apes movies this week. All 10 going back to 1968 all the way up to the current day. And we're going to rank them for you best to worst. Let's look at the Margo, do you have that full screen of all the Planet of the Apes movies? Maybe just quickly refresh
So
on.
here they are.
Starting in
1968.
1968, of course, with the original Charlton Heston, You Damn Dirty Apes, It's a Madhouse, Statue of Liberty on the Beach, et cetera, et cetera. And then in 1970, we get Beneath the Planet of the Apes sequel, directed by Ted Post. The original, of course, directed by Franklin Schaffner. And then 1971, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, directed by Don Taylor. And then we get two directed by J. Lee Thompson to end the original run. Conquest of the Planet of the Apes and Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Then we have to wait, 30 years until old Tim Burton got his thinking cap on and said, I want to do a remake of Planet of the Apes. So he does that with Mark Wahlberg in 2001. And then 10 years later, we get this new run we're on, this reboot series, which are essentially prequels leading up to the 1968 movie. Rise of the Planet of the Apes with James Franco, directed by Rupert Wyatt. And then the two by Matt Reeves, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes. And then finally this most recent one, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, directed by Wes Ball. So, Joe, how about let's kick it off. Give me your bottom 5, and I want to see how they correlate to my bottom 5. Let's just take the temperature, see how we're doing.
10, the worst Planet of the Apes movie is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Joe, I have Kingdom at 10 as well.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I guess if it was just a regular week at the movies, I would say this is a bad movie. Not the worst movie I've ever seen, but not great at all. For a Planet of the Apes movie, this movie's last. This movie gets 10th place, Brett.
Yep, I have Kingdom at 10 as well.
That's right. 9 and 8 and 7. So I adore the original 5. I love the way it looks. I love
good.
the actors. I love the whole gestalt,
the kitsch, the color,
and also
the humor, the intelligence.
And it's not just the kitsch. It's also the hot, like the shattering sadnesses and the
they get so dark,
intensely real stuff.
So
and
dark,
just wonderful, wonderful movies. So basically, everything from here on out is good movies. I just want to say that I like all the movies that we're about
even
to
like
talk
the
about.
Tim Burton.
Yes, I
wow,
like. It's not
I like
that
this.
The rest
I
of these
like
movies, but there are 3 that are not great.
Okay,
but I like them, and those 3 are the Tim Burton one, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. That's the 5th one of the original series, and Beneath the Planet of the Apes. That is the 2nd one in the original series. I would call those the ones that are a slightly less than good. They're pretty good, or they're okay, or they're not great.
Because Beneath the Planet of the Apes, the immediate sequel, is the first half of the movie. I was really let down because it's literally just a rehash of the first one, to the extent that they have like a Charlton Heston doppelganger, because Heston didn't want to be in it that much. They had to like really twist his arm to be in it at all, and so he's just like sort of in a framey sort of narrative at the beginning and the end. So the first half is just a sort of lukewarm rehash of the first one.
And they finally go into the secret zone from the first one, and I'm all hyped up to see what's behind there, and all that's behind there. Well, it sounds interesting, and it looks cool, and it certainly is weird, but it feels more TV-y than as grounded sci-fi, or at least elevated sci-fi that the other ones in this portion of the series sort of feel. These aliens that live under the ground that worship a nuclear bomb sounds cool, is technically cool. It's just okay. It just feels a little.
Yeah.
It just feels a little.
It's better than everything that's come before it in the movie, and it like salvages the movie from being 10 on this list for me.
It's just not my favorite bad guy ever. I guess.
No, it's like a little weird religious cult that speaks telepathically and worships a golden nuclear bomb, which does sound
cool. Which they do set off, and which does.
Charlton Heston.
Now this one, maybe we're going to put it at the bottom here, but let's just say maybe the best ending of the whole entire gosh darn thing. And this franchise has nothing but good endings.
Insane.
Nothing but good endings.
The ending
of this one's
Heston
awesome.
Reaches up and ignites the nuclear bomb, and then you hear a narrator say, like, in a distant corner of the universe, circling an insignificant sun, a little green planet is no more. And you're like,
cut
oh shit.
Cut to white.
Like,
and
cut,
whoa.
like you have not since the Sopranos season finale has there been a harder cut. It is
awesome.
so hard. It is the hardest cut I've ever seen in a movie. Like the movie is like, this movie is over. This movie's
really
over
cool.
now.
Well then that's so distinctive.
I like that though. It's really funny.
I like that too. So let's not put it 9.
No.
9 though, how about I'm gonna pitch you on Battle at 9.
I can put 9.
Battle's the 5th one. It's fun. It's because now chimpanzees go to war with the mean authoritarian gorillas is sort of the general gist. And there's a lot to love and a lot to look at. But like some of those...
You get Paul Williams as Virgil, which is fun.
Yeah. And John Huston is
John
in there
Huston's
as well.
The voice of John Huston.
Yes, which is fun. And it's an Apes movie, so it's it's fun and good. But sort of like some of the lesser Showa era Godzilla movies, there's plenty to love because I love a Showa era Godzilla, but the whole thing didn't come together story-wise and thematically, and I'm happy with that at 9.
Yeah, and I think, it comes out in 1973. It's the last of the original movies. And I believe it's like a year away from the TV series coming out, or maybe a year or 2 away from the TV series, and it feels like a pilot of the TV series. It just feels like an episode of a TV show. It just doesn't have like the scope or the depth that we've come to expect from the previous ones. I like that at 9.
So do you have any? So basically now I'm Tim Burton.
You have Tim Burton and you have Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Beneath.
Now here's the one that you did not mention.
Which one do you have down
because
here?
I have Tim Burton and Beneath. In my, I have those at like 6 and 7, so we're not far.
So you
off.
have a different 8.
Okay, so the 8 that I
what do you have?
I have my least favorite of the reboot series of the new ones.
Okay.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes, starring James Franco. I have it 9.
Make the case.
Didn't like it.
Make the case.
Okay, here's Look, I know you like Caesar. I love Caesar. And I love the monkeys in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It is, just because of when it came out, it is the worst of the CGI of the new ones just because it's the oldest. I do like that final battle on the Golden Gate Bridge, et cetera, et cetera. So I like the monkeys. I learned something I didn't expect to learn. And I think I knew it in my head, but I now want to articulate it very clearly to you after watching all the Planet of the Apes movies. Mark Wahlberg, who's in the Tim Burton one, and James Franco, who's in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Mark Wahlberg and James Franco are worst movie stars ever. They are the worst, for people who have ascended to the A-list of the A-list, these guys are heading up Planet of the Apes movies, right? For people who have ascended to the A-list of the A-list, the top of the mountain, Mark Wahlberg and James Franco are our worst movie stars, maybe ever, maybe since Ronald Reagan. They are our worst movie stars. These guys, and I'm not saying that I hate every performance by these guys. I like Dirk Diggler. I like Mark Wahlberg in The Yards.
I was going to say, what about all the James Gray? I was about
to like him in James Gray movies.
How dare you?
I like when an Indio Tor sort of frames him in the right way.
The Departed?
Yes, I like him in The Departed. I like, kooky James Franco and Pineapple Express, et cetera, et cetera.
Mark Wahlberg and the other guys, funny.
Mark Wahlberg is funny in the other guys. But when these guys are just trying to do movie star thing, when they essentially have to be like Harrison Ford, they cannot do that. No. They cannot freaking do that. It is... They can't emote. They do this frozen version of intensity that says nothing, that does nothing. Their voice, one of the actor's main instruments, James Franco's voice has none of the gravitas or power or sort of fluidity. It has nothing. The voice. Think about all your favorite big movie star actors. The voice is half the battle. His voice is so underwhelming for the status of movie star he's trying to aspire to. Yep. And freaking Mark Wahlberg, if I can. I mean,
you can.
When it comes to movies like this, again, where he has to be Harrison Ford, just a charismaless block of Dorchester, Mass douche. All the Mark Wahlbergness comes out. It all comes out. He has so little range. James Franco has so little range. Their faces are so deeply uninteresting, and I can say that because that's their fucking tool. They're an actor. They emote nothing, intensity without meaning. It almost seems like they hate movies or they've never seen movies before. It's almost like they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. So, as much as I like the monkeys in I actually like the monkeys in Tim Burton's movie a lot too, and the thing I like about Tim Burton's movie that it gets points for me is it maintains the dream of the original Planet of the Apes by not over relying on CGI. He got Rick Baker, baby, to do the makeup and special effects, so you get Paul Giamatti with facial prosthetics on, you get Tim Roth with facial prosthetics on, Helena Bonham Carter with facial prosthetics on. So I love, and he also I think went back more to the original book by Pierre Boulet, which they weren't able to do in the original because it cost too much money, but he's giving you this more sort of lavish aristocratic vision of the ape society that I thought was interesting. So for that, Tim Burton's going to rank higher for me, but man, Franco and Wahlberg tank those two fucking movies for me. Tank them hard. That's why I have Rise so low, but I've heard you like Rise. Tell me why.
I love Rise. I love Rise because of the monkeys. There's two parts. There's the ape storyline, which I find very effective and affecting. Caesar's sort of journey to becoming this ape, to becoming this ape that can think and talk, and the way that he grew up with James Franco, and then the way that he gets put into that prison run by Brian Cox and Draco Malfoy.
Yeah, that is funny.
I find that to be so sad. And there he meets Maurice, goat character, and he he gets all the apes on his side, and it's very inspirational. And then they go to Genexus, boo, the mean company that makes that tortures the monkeys, boo. And then he saves Koba and all the monkeys getting tested on, and they go over the Golden Gate Bridge, and they have a big confrontation with the police on the bridge for like 10 minutes. It's an amazing action set piece.
We're getting into the better ones.
You asked me what I like. I loved it.
You didn't mention John Lithgow, interestingly enough.
But the humans are a weaker part of the story, there's no doubt. But it is funny.
You didn't mention John Lithgow banging on that piano.
It's funny to see James Franco.
Weird,
dude,
right?
Brett's not wrong. No acting. To Brett's point, it's like, you know how actors, you read the script and then your job is to go, but this person had a whole life before they said these words. I'm going to go think about how their life might have affected their behavior and such. James Franco just comes in, he just reads the words, and he doesn't do any of that.
This was during the James Franco period where he was doing 2 PhDs and trying to bang teenagers. Yeah. So it's understandable if he was a little distracted,
coasting. But
it definitely comes across.
Freida Pinto's in this movie, so obviously points, but wow, her character's so bad, and so is she in the movie. The guy who plays MLK and Selma's in this movie, and I like him. What happened to him?
Oh, so David
Oluwayo.
Yes.
And John Lithgow's in this movie, and he does a Flowers for Algernon, so at first he's really dumb, but then the Alzheimer's medicine works, and he becomes really smart, and John Lithgow really gets to lean into having Alzheimer's, and that's jarring. But I love the story, I love the Caesar, and I think it's just a exciting entry point for a new franchise reboot, unlike Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay, that's interesting. It does give us the basis for the Matt Reeves movie, so maybe that's
so much more exciting.
And also, people think that the highlight of Tom Felton's career is that he played Draco Malfoy.
That's
the
right.
highlight of Tom Felton's career is that in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, he gets to say the "Get your dirty paws off me" or "Get your paws off me, you damn dirty apes." He gets the big line from the original. They give it to Tom Felton.
I love it. So I like that movie.
All right, how about this? Let me
I got to talk about Burton, but put Battle at 8. Battle's so forgettable.
Battle's at 9.
Oh, sorry.
Beneath.
How about, can I interest you in Beneath at 9 or at 8? I mean, because I like. Do you like Tim Burton more or less than Beneath?
That ending though is gutsy. It's so gutsy.
But so's Tim Burton's.
Yeah, Tim Burton's is weird.
A couple good points about Tim Burton.
Sell me on Burton. I don't like putting two originals this far down, but you sell me on Burton.
Here's the thing about Burton's. The makeup's not kind of good, and the prosthetics aren't very good looking.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
They are some of the best I have ever
Rick Baker,
seen
baby.
in any movie. The way, and then for the makeup to look that way, and then to have the actors be able to move like Tim Roth so freely in them, and all of the world building and the sets and the way that the planet looks now, the costuming, the helmets, the battle armor, the horses, the hair, it is an amazing production, and the art design is spectacular. The story, the script, bad. The story kind of interesting. I like the reshuffling of the deck for this Planet of the Apes and how the humans and the apes interact, and how the humans and how Mark Wahlberg's from the future and how space is used. And at the end of Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, it has a really effective twist ending, a la the '68 Planet of the Apes.
He nails the ending,
but with a new
shockingly
flavor
he nails it.
That's so fun and cool.
An impossible task, and he nails the ending with a equally fun but different twist.
The women, there's a human woman and Helena Bonham Carter's ape woman that both, like, for whatever reason, will not stop lusting after Mark Wahlberg, and their love triangle is so impossible to watch. Helena Bonham Carter gives the worst performance of all time. I think it was pre-divorce sabotage. She must have hated Tim at this point, because holy shit, she, a good actor, she is doing some bad work, and she single-handedly almost ruins the movie. But Giamatti, Michael Clark
makes
Duncan,
some specific
Tim Roth,
choices and they don't pay off.
They're killing. I hate Helena in this, but overall, I think this movie is underrated. It's not a good movie, but it's not really one of these worst movie of all times. I didn't want to turn it off, and I kind of wanted to walk out on Kingdom.
Yeah,
about an hour into it.
You're right. It's also a movie we have to evaluate all these movies in their entirety, including, Beneath the Planet of the Apes. We can't just like focus on like the fun, weird ending, because I found Tim Burton's got better as it went on. Like the first, I mean, pre getting to the Planet of the Apes is unwatchable. Like Mark Wahlberg on the spaceship, and then he gets that weird Zoom call from his friend.
It's just saved
and it's
by
the most incomprehensible like friend group you've ever seen in your life.
He's mean to the
and it's
chimp.
like somebody got engaged, and you're like, who are these? These are your friends?
Okay, yeah. No, it's not. Look, it's not a great movie, but I liked it more than I liked Beneath.
Okay, I
did. I just did.
But you're not gonna. I'm not
dancing with you.
Rise can't go at 8.
I'm not dancing with you on Rise, because Rise is my second favorite of the new reboot series.
Third favorite.
No.
Second favorite?
Yes, honey.
Better, just to test the waters.
Yeah,
you think it's better than Dawn?
I do.
You're fucking crazy.
A smidge.
That's insane.
A smidge.
That's insane.
They're all very tight. A smidge. I don't think that. Oh, they really figured out Jason Clarke and Kerry Russell's characters in Dawn so much better than James Franco and Fredo Pintos.
But they're such good actors, though. It doesn't matter.
But, so what? Kerry Russell's completely and totally underutilized. And Jason Clarke, all of his parts are like, get back to Koba. I don't care about your fucking waterfall generator.
But that movie's about your boy Caesar.
I love Caesar.
Man. Yeah, that's the ultimate Caesar movie.
Listen, I think
that's the Caesar movie. Is Dawn.
Well, okay, look, Dawn. Since we're talking about Dawn, Dawn has Caesar and Dawn has Koba. Koba, the mean monkey that was really tortured. Humans start encroaching on their lands, and he wants none of it, and Caesar keeps showing mercy, and eventually Koba takes down Caesar and tries to do what's the bad lion in Lion King? Scar tries to scar Caesar's Mufasa and take over the world. Now Gary Oldman is in it. I think the San Francisco falling apart is very effective. I really like Dawn. I really like Rise. I think Rise is underrated.
I don't know why you like Rise so much.
Because I really love all the monkey parts, and I really like the story. How about this? Look, so
let me hit you with a red line here.
Okay.
Rise ain't getting above 6. Over my dev body, Rise doesn't get above 6. I have it at 9, so I'm getting you a concession here.
I appreciate that. Don't be the guy that puts Rise under Beneath, and you're gonna be sorry.
No. It won't. So I'll put Rise at 6. That's my concession. That's a concession.
That's a huge concession.
Okay,
thank you.
Rise is at 6.
Rise high, Rise up.
I almost want to put Burton above Rise, though. I'm coming around on Burton the more we're talking.
I
about
really
it.
like Burton.
What about Rise at 7, Burton at 6?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Good. That's it. That's it.
Why?
I still gave you 2 on Rise. I still give you 2
I love
points.
that. I love no. I like the Tim Burtons. People say, "Oh, Tim Burton, Planet of the Apes was the beginning of the end of his age of being at his height." No. Planet of the Apes is the end of the height, not the beginning of the end. Mark that. Write that down, folks.
Planet of the Apes.
Because especially maybe when Planet of the Apes, Tim Burton came out, everyone was just so used to lavish, gorgeous, expensive prosthetics, costumes, lighting, and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like for me, from the future, looking back at this movie, it makes me sad, essentially. Now, I like Rise more, but I'm also kind of happy to put
And I
it
gotta
above.
say, he gets so many bonus points for sticking with makeup and prosthetics and nailing it. All right, so that means that Beneath goes at 8, which makes sense. I had Beneath at 6.
Okay, so this is where we're disagreeing.
I like that ending more than you did. And I like the like.
Well,
I like the nuclear bomb cult better than you did.
I guess so.
And Heston and his doppelganger fighting in that jail cell.
I like that part very much. But
no, this is looking good.
This is right though, because like we said, Brett, from 9 and up, these are all good.
No, these are all good.
9 and up is just good.
So here's what we're looking at so far. We got.
All right, at 6 we have Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. 7, Rise of the Planet of the Apes of James Franco. 8, Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
The sequel, the immediate
9,
sequel.
Battle, the 5th one that's sort of gorillas versus chimps, and then 10 is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the new one that we didn't like. Okay. So now we're at top 5.
So now we're in the really good ones. Okay,
the really good ones. So what's left?
All right, here is. How about this?
Okay.
I want you to hit me with, just for argument's sake.
Okay.
Hit me with your 1, 2, 3. Your best, second best, third.
My
best.
1, 2, 3. I have thought about this for the past 2 weeks as we were doing so hard.
I've been thinking about this all week.
So hard. But I meditated on it, and I have to be honest, and here's my top 3. In third place, the third greatest Planet of the Apes movie is 1968's original Charlton Heston starring Planet of the Apes. My second favorite Planet of the Apes movie is the almost perfect Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, the one when a young Caesar leads a revolt in ape prison, essentially. And then my favorite Planet of the Apes movie, my number 1 personally, Brett, would be the third movie in this franchise, Escape from the Planet of the Apes. In this movie, after the second movie, the whole world goes to white. It's done. Except what we learn in 3 is a pod or whatever has shot out of time with Dr. Nira and Cornelius, and they have gone back in time. They've gone intergalactically elsewhere, and they landed on Earth in early 1970s. They are alien. They are brought to the trial. People are freaking out. Here's these talking apes from space. Oh my God, these aliens have visited this planet. And then what does this movie do? It just invites the aliens in with open arms and shows them an amazing time.
They become celebrities.
For like 45 minutes to an hour.
Culture celebrities.
They just get and it's so fun to watch. It's the most thrilling sci-fi twist of them all, is watching the aliens be shown around very politely by their beloved fans, humans.
But
But there's always a freaking fly in the ointment.
So
with
they're going to they're shopping on Rodeo Drive. They're trying on suits.
Dr. Zero is speaking
dresses.
at the Bay Area Women's Club about like female lib, like 1970s
Truly.
style.
They're going to
getting
cocktail parties.
Ovations. They're getting taken. Someone takes Cornelius to a boxing match, and then he pans in on his face. His face is a monkey, and he goes, "Ghastly," or like he's like
ghastly,
inhumane.
Roddy McDowell is Cornelius.
These humans are ghastly.
But behind the scenes this whole time, while you're enjoying this fun little sort of sitcom version of outer space apes in the big city,
it's the most enjoyable thing you've ever seen.
The government is plotting about how to destroy them because it knows that
they're going to give birth to
they've found out about the prophecy of where the world is going, and so they want to destroy these intelligent apes before the intelligent apes destroy them. And the last third of the movie, the third act, takes this 180-degree hard turn into just some of the tensest, darkest material I've ever seen in a sci-fi movie.
They hunt them down.
These 3 people who have been celebrities
so scary,
are being hunted through the streets, hunted into this abandoned ship off a Long Beach or something, and with their newborn baby, and they're being hunted by the military and by these government operatives,
and they have a little baby.
Ends in this tragic way, and it's so sad, and you're just it is this just whirlwind of emotion you're being put through. Joe, I had the exact same 3.
What?
I had the exact same 3.
You had Escape 1, Conquest 2,
Escape,
Planet
Conquest,
of the Apes 3?
Joe, Escape from the Planet of the Apes is one of the best sci-fi movies I've ever seen
Isn't
in my life. It's so good.
Creative.
It's so creative.
It's such a different flavor.
Yes.
And then to pull off
the
the tonal shift to such a high degree is not easy.
Yeah.
And they make it look easy. Like, oh, when a movie decides to be sad, it's sad all of a sudden. No, this is like expertly crafted sci-fi. Such a tense, dramatic, heartbreaking ending. I loved Nira and Cornelius, who I didn't care for in the first two films. I thought they were annoying.
They're so good. I love that they play up their marriage. I love that they play up their marriage. Like they do all these old married couple things.
God, it's
during
so
like
good.
government hearings. It's so inventive and funny. And Amy was watching Escape from the Planet Apes with me early on, and she was there for when they're celebrities and they're shopping on Rodeo Drive.
The greatest.
And then she had to go work, and I came back after I watched the movie. I was like, Amy, Escape from the Planet of the Apes hits you in the fucking gut so hard. I am like I can't. I'm like crying. I'm like in turmoil over this movie, and she's like, "What?
Yes,
the sitcom where the monkeys are shopping on Rodeo Drive." I was like, Amy, you got to watch this movie. It
looks
pulls
amazing.
it off, and it pulls it off.
It has so many surprises. It looks amazing. It is great character development. It's totally heartbreaking, and it propels you into the next bit of this franchise.
And we didn't talk about one of the great characters in all of the franchise, which is Ricardo Montalban's
amazing
circus. Oh my God, Armando.
Yes,
Armando, who runs like this humane circus.
He's like Schindler,
and
not to be crass, but like that's he
as an analogy,
he
saves their child from being executed by the government essentially. But he's just this fun, fanciful circus master. He's like a good version of because you've seen that character forever in Pinocchio and everything. Like the guy who runs the circus is always evil.
Yeah.
No, what if he was good and fun and humane?
That's the best thing about Apes.
Yes.
So what if it was fun for an hour?
Yes.
It's so different and so cool, and it lands like a fucking 1,000-pound piano on your head. But there is, just for the Conquest heads out there.
Oh,
losing
Conquest
their
is the real deal, though. Conquest is so good.
A hair's breadth away.
So close.
Really, I think Escape
1A and 1B
wins because it's so distinct as a piece of sci-fi, and it lands with such a thud, and it's enjoyable the whole way through. Similarly good the whole entire way through, and I mean very good, is Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, the fourth film in the franchise. So this little baby, Ricardo Montalban, does successfully get him to escape, despite the government thinking that they killed him. And in Conquest, in order to hide, Ricardo Montalban puts Caesar the ape into ape prison, essentially for his own safety, so that he blends in and people, because he's getting too smart and too old, that he needs to hide. So they put him in ape prison, and then it becomes a prison escape movie. And Caesar, much like in Rise, a good Planet of the Apes movie, leads the revolt out of the jail, and it ends in this cacophonous Battle of Algiers style,
like
handy cam,
weird
monkey man, fucking
futuristic sci-fi
rebellion
city.
For a while, and it is violent.
Incredible.
It is not
it's
nice.
Violent. It's violent.
It is fucking scary.
Yes,
and it is so raw and real. The anger with because it's not like today when it's like, oh, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, all the apes are running around because they're scared. It's like, no, these apes are fighting because 4 years ago was the fucking Civil Rights Act was signed, It's like these apes have something to fucking like fight for, live for. Like this is like a political film.
It's
and it has
very
a POV.
political film. And there are shots of when they are like running up against the cops in that courtyard in this like futuristic version of Los Angeles, and they like show the like apes approaching through the sort of like smoke, and then they just keep showing. When they show the cops, they don't even show their faces. They just show this incredible line of like guns and shields that just say police, and they keep cutting to that shot, and it is like, it's fucking amazing.
It's so
Conquest
good.
Is like punk. It is hardcore. Conquest is so good.
It gets second though because of this one little nugget.
Yes.
They changed the last minute of the film. Did you know that, Brett?
I didn't.
So the one that we saw is the theatrical release, because right as Caesar is about to murder the governor, the mean human that was the main baddie this whole entire film, about to bash him over the head in front of this thousands of apes watching upon him to lead his rebellion, just as this violent justice is about to be delivered, Caesar, who's filled with rage for the past hour, going absolutely insane, stops short of killing this guy, stands up and goes, but you know what? Now, in the middle of this prison riot is a time for mercy, and the Planet of the Apes is better than that, and now it's time for the Planet of the Apes. And it's like, wait, what? Caesar had a real downshift there.
Yeah.
That's because the studio made them do that, because what really happens is he fucking murders that governor brutally, all the other prison humans join the apes and they all lead the rebellion, and they like completely and totally crush the authority of the humans. So that like this movie gets all the way right up to the edge, and then the studio goes, I think we're gonna do nice Caesar really fast. And
not
it's
Conquest's
and it doesn't like ruin it, and it doesn't mean it's not 2. It's just kind of more interesting than a ding. But I do it is fun to note because it has that one little let up, unlike Escape, which decides to just murder your soul at the end.
Yes, and Escape has the humor in the beginning, all the sort of like married couple back and forth.
This series
like,
should have humor, Brett.
Yes.
It's talking monkeys.
Yes.
And later on, Matt Reeves goes in the dark post-Nolan direction, which I like.
He's doing Nolan Batman. He's doing Daniel Craig
and that
Bond.
has space because he commits.
Yes.
But I really like the levity of the early ones, and I love it in Escape the most.
We just can't. Contemporary filmmakers can't do that. They can't do that style. They just cannot do it. They've got to do, Nolan Batman style.
Big budget.
That's their big move. It's like, let's make it dark and gritty. Well, speaking of,
let's talk about
we've
that.
got 2 slots left. Okay. I think you want War at 4. Sell me on War for the Planet of the Apes at 4 over Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Here's why I like War for the Planet of the Apes more than I like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Dawn has a lot going for it. It has Koba. It has Caesar. It has Maurice, and it has my favorite shot in the entire franchise when Matt Reeves, when the Koba's army is going into San Francisco to take over or fight the humans, kill all the humans. Matt Reeves puts his camera on top of a tank, and as the tank swivels with a monkey sort of shooting a machine gun around, you see in 360 the entire battle of monkeys and man and horses. It is the coolest thing in the world. The reason I like War a smidgy more than Dawn is because in War, my problem with Dawn is it's a little like somber and it's a little bloated. And in War, Reeves just commits to the somberness.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He just settles into the somberness in a way, and he like relaxes into the dourness and the grayness, and he doesn't even bother with like, let's make it a little green here and make it a little purple there. And he'll like go back to this in the Batman where he's like, turn up the green, turn up the purple. That's good, exciting direction. For whatever reason in War, he kind of like grows up for a minute. It's his best movie that he's ever made.
It's a lean, mean war movie.
I love a snow western, Brett, and this movie this movie's giving me snow western. It's almost
Mrs. Miller.
Sillily Apocalypse Now-y, but you know what? It just leans in and is like, it says Ape Apocalypse Now on the wall. It's like, okay, they know about that.
And you see it says like Monkey Hunter on the back of one of the soldiers, very sort of like Vietnam-y and like, it's I agree with you. I think War's better than Dawn.
I'm with you, man. Caesar is broken at this point, and he has a really impactful scene with Woody Harrelson at the very end of this movie that is so dark, where he's about to kill Woody Harrelson, who's the meanest guy in the world, and instead,
in real life,
he shows him mercy, which is actually the much meaner thing to do because he makes Woody Harrelson kill himself essentially, and it's just so freaking dark. I also think it's beautifully shot. I also think it's the best CGI. Brett spoke about how he liked the CGI in Kingdom. I'm no CGI expert. But just as a fan of movies, I was blown away by the CGI in War for the Planet of the Apes.
It's great.
It's great. I like Caesar all gray.
It does what you have to do, where
cool.
it blends the CGI into real surroundings, real locations.
He does that well. He does that well in both of those
movies.
movies.
Yeah.
And then in Kingdom, it's back to soft focus because we're not going to pay for the fucking background. You know what I mean? But we're going to pay for the CGI, but we're not going to pay for the amazing sets that Reeves gets to utilize in Dawn and War. And I'm no Dawn hater. These movies are all so close for me.
Yeah, minus the original run, I think Matt Reeves has hit the highest heights in the Planet of the Apes franchise outside of the original run. So I like this a lot. I think we nailed it. Here's what we've got. Read them off.
All right. In 10th place, the worst one, we have the new Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
So bad. I put it at 11 if I could.
9, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. 8, Beneath for the Planet of the Apes. 7, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. That's the first one of the new franchise. 6, we have the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes. Controversial, probably. 5.
It's growing on me.
5, Dawn. 4, War. 3, 1968 original Planet of the Apes. Second best, Conquest. That's the fourth one. Number 1 Planet of the Apes movie of all time, according to Movies Babyyy, so that's the facts, is Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
That's the facts, Jack.
That is the ranking,
Escape
folks.
and Conquest 2 are just on a different planet for me. They are just above and beyond.
No, they're like
and I love this franchise, period, but those two are just next level.
And I love 68, but Conquest and Escape, there's an art to making sequels. And it's always exciting to see sequels that elevate the original material. And those movies are just excellent sci-fi.
The dialogue just hits another level. All the themes just have an extra level of nuance and complexity. It's just smart and weird and funny and dark. I love that.
And enjoyable and easy to watch. Like,
so easy to watch.
Watch it with your 12-year-old. Watch it with your dad. Watch it with
if you
your
haven't
grandma.
Seen Escape and Conquest,
everyone's gonna like the movie.
Watch Escape
Everyone's
and
gonna like the
Conquest.
movie.